report the news that nobody has the balls to report.
Why am I the only one breaking stories like this? You can call me Uncle Turtleboy, Clarence, Aidan. I don't care what you call me.
Did you not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby?
I think they don't like the things that I'm saying and they want me to stop saying them, but I'm not. I'm never going to stop. Now, these are the kind of stories, guys, that must be told. I'm just a guy who's breaking stories and reporting news from my basement.
Hey, what's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing tonight? Good, good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special edition of the show. Usually we do Turtle Club on Thursday nights, but we have a special guest with us tonight. But we do this every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. So if you're new here, make sure you please smash that subscribe button. You can't comment until you smash the subscribe button. I think we're like 24 short of 26,000, so help us get there. Also, we're streaming on Rumble right now. I just put the Rumble link in the chat so you can watch over there. I don't know how many people we got. Do we have anyone there right now? Let's see. We got one there. Okay, we got one person there, so that's cool. But you can watch it there, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Follow all our socials, please. Clarence Woods Emerson on Facebook. I was just in Newton for an hour at I was spreading peace, love, and happiness. I was at the protest, the counter protest to support the drag queen performance at Newton North High School tomorrow. And my big thing when I got there, I said, why are we stopping in high school here? We need drag shows in kindergarten. And I actually got one person to agree with me on that. So I feel like we had some common ground. Got assaulted a couple times. Pretty wild stuff. Go watch that if you haven't already. I'm literally running on zero sleep right now. I don't know how I'm doing it. Just pure adrenaline. As you guys know, I got swatted last night. That was crazy. Horrible. But I feel rejuvenated after that event in Newton. So go check that out. Also on Facebook, you can follow the Turtleboy page. On Twitter, I'm at Dr. Turtleboy, DOCTOR Turtleboy, because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor. On Instagram, we are at Turtleboy_daily_news. So check us out on all those platforms. Also, if you guys would like to donate to the program, you can't do the super chat because we had the wrong opinion about 2 years ago about Joe Biden's vaccine mandate. So they don't let us have a super chat anymore, which is fine because they take 40% of that, I think, which is highway robbery. So we went and built our own super chat. It's called Turtle Chat. It's linked at the top. If you guys click on that button, you can donate whatever amount of money you want. When you do that, you get to leave a message. I will get the message in my email and I will read it out loud to the class periodically throughout the program. So if you want to give a shout out to, maybe somebody's birthday, maybe somebody misgendered you, whatever you want to do, it's your Turtle Chat. So you can write whatever the heck you want on it. I'm also on Cash App at $Uncle Turtleboy. We got one Turtle Chat already from DW. Says the broadcast today from Newton was awesome. Some of your best work. Also, it's sad to see that Troll Homeo seemingly has come out as pro swatting. Ooh, yikes. Homeo has made about 1 million obsessed posts today, and none of them condemn what happened to Unc last night. That is so wrong, Mr. Troll Homeo. I'm begging you to see the light. This $25 in an honor review. Have a nice loser. Yeah, so I don't understand that. It's like, you can hate me all you want, but maybe be anti sending police to my house at 2 a.m. and, waking up my children. Maybe. I feel like that's a middle ground, a compromise that we can all agree on. So anyway, so here's the topic for today. Reason we're doing this tonight. Yesterday on Twitter, I got into a discussion here, I guess, if you will, with a former WEI morning show host and current Barstool sports podcaster, Kirk Minihane. And for those of you guys unfamiliar with Kirk, he when he got to WEI, I want to say in 2014, it was the Dennis and Callahan show in the morning, and they were losing in the ratings, I believe, to Touch Her Rich on 98.5 because 98.5 has a better they're better, right? And so they're like the big brother of Boston sports radio. And then Kirk came in and he just said things that a lot of people agreed with that you weren't supposed to say on the radio. Like, for instance, there was the Aaron Andrews take. That was kind of like his big thing. I want to get the order right. He called her a gutless bitch, but that was after he said that she would be working at a Perkins if she gained 10 pounds. I believe that was a quote, which is true. I mean, Aaron Andrews, and that's an uncomfortable truth, because Aaron Andrews wouldn't be working as a sideline reporter if she was fat. It's just a fact. And why can't you say that? It's true. People like that. People like that. And he got suspended. So he kind of became like the bad boy of sports talk radio. And I like that. Obviously, with my line of work, that's the kind of stuff that attracts me. And so I became a fan, and it became popular. And then next thing you know, it ended in 2018 because of one activist by the name of Bob Murchison. Bob Murchison is a millionaire who lives in Sherborne. His daughter became his son. And since then, I believe there was an incident in 2017 in which Gerry and Kirk were debating a transgender track athlete in Connecticut who was smashing state records, like a boy. It was just killing girls, killing them. And they were like, they took the common sense approach and said, this isn't fair. Like, maybe don't do this. Like, this is not good for the girls. And for that, Bob Murchison decided to light the station on fire by spending every moment of every day just obsessing over making sure that every advertiser at WEI was contacted with out of context clips of things that Kirk had said, things that Dave Portnoy had said, who does not work at WEI, contacting Wendy's, contacting all these places. And it was in such bad faith, but it worked. One guy did that. Then he got some assistance from the Boston Globe and Shirley Young, and it cost the station like millions of dollars. And it drove Kirk personally crazy, and he had to take some time off for a mental health break. And then when he wanted to come back, they wouldn't let him come back. And so his contract ran out. He goes to work in Barstool Sports. 6 months later, Gerry's fired. And so then Gerry starts his own podcast, and here we are. So ever since he started working at Barstool, as you know, I've been kind of critical of them because I call them Huffstool, because I just feel like they are much safer than they were at their foundation 15, 20 years ago when Dave Portnoy was posting baby dicks and stuff. But now it's a lot more PC. He's got a lot of younger people there. Kirk's probably like one of the oldest people that works at Barstool. And he had a little incident the other day, right, on his Twitter page. So there's a girl, we covered this in a blog last week. This girl, Riley Gaines, she lost to Leah Thomas at swimming. She was a swimmer for Kentucky. Leigha Gaines is the dude who swam at Pennsylvania University for 3 years and then decided to become a woman and just smashed all. It was a mockery, just beat everyone by a lot. And so she's kind of become like the de facto face of women's sports and standing up to this because no one else is doing it. Like people like Megan Rapinoe, however you pronounce her name. She is a feminist, right? And a great athlete. One of the best soccer players, obviously, to ever play the game for women. And so this is a tremendous opportunity here to use your platform to speak out against this. Like you can be like, okay, dress however you want, do whatever you want. You can't play sports. You can't do that. That's not fair. I feel like that's not a big ask. So Megan Rapinoe doesn't do that though. Even though people like Martina Navratilova, famous tennis player, has been very vocal against this. J.K. Rowling, very vocal against this. Because they're rich. When you're rich and you have fuck you money, you can afford to do stuff like that. Well, Megan Rapinoe has fuck you money and she has the platform, and she still decided to come out in favor of this. She still decided to come out in favor of allowing trans kids to play. Misrepresents what's happening. It says here that women's sports need protection from. Today, politicians in DC are claiming to protect women's sports by pushing trans and intersex sports ban. Not a ban. You can play. You can play on the right team, though. Okay, so that's a lie. And so in response to this, Riley Gaines quote tweets and says, it's worth noting that, number one, you're done with your athletic career. Fair point, because it's easy to say this when you will never have to go against a dude. I mean, it's just cowardly. Number two, because you aren't sexually attracted to men, it's unlikely you'll ever have a daughter to defend. And that's where we get into the controversial part, because obviously you can have kids if you're a lesbian. You just have to go the turkey baster way or the adoption way, right? You can't. So you like, maybe she didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't thinking it's a freaking tweet. Okay. It's just a stupid tweet. She tweets it out. Sometimes we all, like Blind Mike had a great comment yesterday when I was on the show with Kirk. He said that, he seems like an asshole, but then you talk to him and you're like, oh, he's not so bad. And that kind of sums it up. Like when we talk to each other, we realize that, okay, I misunderstood something you said. So anyway, you see something like this, and Gerry Callahan's sitting in his home. And Gerry Callahan, obviously 100% conservative. He sees Riley Gaines dunking on Megan Rapinoe. It doesn't matter what she says. He's hitting the retweet button immediately. He sees Riley Gaines is dunking on Megan Rapinoe. Game over. Gerry is going to retweet that 100 times out of 100. It doesn't matter what it says in it. But Kirk took personal offense to this because Kirk has 2 children and his oldest daughter is adopted. And to him, this tweet was like a personal shot at him. And because you weren't sexually attracted, because it ignores adoption, right? It pretends adoption almost doesn't exist. And in my opinion, that was a reach. So he does this whole rant here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Okay. But he does it in classic Kirk Minihane style. He calls Riley Gaines a cunt, which I thought was uncalled for. He was extremely theatrical, but that's kind of his style. And it just seemed to me making the Riley Gaines thing about him was just madness. Like how can you possibly do that? And also, why the fuck do you care about what Gerry Callahan is retweeting? Like, I don't like why I don't get it. Like, who cares what Gerry Callahan is retweeting? And so I invited both of them on the show, and Kirk took me up on it. Gerry did not. Now, Gerry has his reasons. And that's between, him and Kirk. He doesn't want to do it, and that's fine too. Okay. But, Kirk does. So I'm going to bring Kirk up now. We're going to talk about this because that's what you're supposed to do. Cause we had a little tweet beef yesterday, a back and forth about this. And he's like, let's just talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Here we go. So I'm going to bring Kirk on now. Oh, where'd he go? Hey, Kirk, how you doing?
What's up? What's going on, Turtleboy? How you doing?
I like the pronouns in the bio. Oh, it doesn't come up on this, huh?
Oh, it doesn't? Oh,
I see it on my end, but
my pronouns are here. Yeah, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Not too bad.
Yeah. So, so there's a couple facets to this I want to get to.
Sure.
First, let's talk about the Riley Gaines tweet. What pissed you off about this so much, and why'd you make it about you?
Well, I think you laid it out pretty well. I take the adoption thing personally. Gerry's was a longtime friend of mine. And I think like the first part of it is I said to you the other day, like, when people suggest, and I saw this on Twitter all day yesterday, like when did you become so pro-trans? Like the idea that Leah Thomas should be able to compete equally against somebody who's born female, to me is ludicrous. I've been saying that all along. I don't really know the issue there. But the adoption issue to me, I take personally when somebody like Riley Gaines, who's stupid, to be fair, tweets something out like that. She's basically saying that adopted parents aren't going to love their kids as much. I mean,
she didn't say that. That's what you took from it, though.
I don't know how I know. Maybe all that chlorine's going to make her womb rotten anyway.
Well, do you give her any leeway because she's 23? She's 23 years old.
No, 20.
No,
not 13. She's 23. She's an adult. Like this is the thing. It was a 20. If it was Dylan Mulvaney tweeting it out, you wouldn't give her leeway because she's 23 years old. Let's be fair.
I wouldn't give him leeway.
Whatever. Either way. You wouldn't give that person leeway. So you're doing that because you agree with Riley Gaines, which is what it's all about. You agree with her completely. Gerry agrees with her completely. That's fine. I agree with some of what she says. Some of what she says I don't agree with. That's.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think when she tweeted this out, she was like, she didn't know about the existence of adoption?
Well, then she's fucking stupid.
No, I'm asking you. Do you think she didn't know about the existence of adoption?
I would guess she's aware of the existence of adoption.
And do you think it possibly could have just fucking slipped her mind? Because sometimes you tweet shit and you're like, oh yeah, fucking that didn't come out right.
Yeah, and that's the same break you'd always give somebody in the extreme left if they tweeted something like that. I'm sure you would be completely consistent about that. I mean, this is where you guys on both sides are so fucking phony. I just want to vomit. It's unbelievable.
Both sides is.
There's a school.
So that's one issue I have.
There's a school shooting. People like you and Gerry have your fucking hands on your cocks. Please be a transgender person, please. And on the other side, the Julie DeCaros of the world are like, please be an angry white person. Please, you're like fucking rooting for it. It's
who do you want it to be?
Madness. Who do I want? I don't want it to be anybody.
But it happened. So who would you prefer it be?
I don't want it to be Bruce Springsteen. That's about it. Or Fred Couples. I don't want it to be anybody. I don't want it to be anybody.
But okay, I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying with that. I do have an issue with the both sidesism because I think from watching you,
It's how I've always been.
In my opinion, and I think, and I've heard this other people say this, I think that you are 95% conservative, but you pretend to be this moderate, this 50-50, middle of the road, could go any way guy. But I think you accentuate and exaggerate the 5%. You make sure to hit that 5% hard to make it seem like you're more balanced.
I get what you're saying. Fiscally, I am conservative for sure. I want no government. I'm a libertarian, but like talking about taxes is not going to come up a lot. Talking about social issues, where I am more liberal than you are, certainly, of course.
Socialism?
What's that?
I am. I'm a socialist.
No. I said social issues.
Oh, social issues. Okay.
Where I happen to have a more liberal. And by the way, you could go back 10 years when I first started with John and Jerry, when Jerry was on the air saying that Michael Sam or Manti Te'o at the time couldn't play in the NFL. He was saying this stuff. And I said,
wait, Jerry said Manti Te'o can't play in the NFL?
This is when everyone thought Manti Te'o was gay. Remember the whole fucking thing?
I think you're thinking of Michael Sam, aren't you?
No. I did say Michael Sam. Remember the whole Manti Te'o, like, then it was like that.
Yeah, but the difference is Manti Te'o is a first-round draft pick, and Michael Sam
what he was saying, what he was saying, though, Turtleboy, was that Manti Te'o wouldn't be allowed in the locker room because the players would be foaming at the mouth in anger. The potential homosexual would be showering with them. You go listen to it 10 years ago, and I disagreed.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how we disagreed. The thing that got corrected the other day about Richard Sherman, like I've always been far more liberal about that stuff. And yes, way. I have no, like, Joe Biden's a fucking idiot. Like
so you kind of held that against Jerry. You said that yesterday in your show that you think that Jerry was against gay marriage.
He is against gay
marriage. But everyone 10 years ago was against gay marriage.
I wasn't.
Maybe you're like the only one. Like Obama and Hillary Clinton were both against gay marriage.
California 20 years ago, I voted with gay marriage. I lived there. I voted for gay marriage. So like, but here's the thing. I have no problem with that. If Jerry's against gay marriage now, be against gay marriage. I'm not saying.
Is he? What makes you say he is now?
Because he's told me privately in the past.
Come on. He never said that.
Yes,
he's against Alex Reamer getting married.
Yes.
Come on.
He thinks they should have a different name, not traditional marriage. You should get married in a church, which is, again, I'm not going to ask you to get kicked off Twitter or do anything. Knock yourself. That's fine. Like that. I think that's great. People should be allowed to say that if that's how they feel. If they don't, if they feel that way and they can't say it, then that shit gets balled up and then crazy fucking shit happens. So I don't really care. But like I said, my daughter's adopted. I have 2 kids. I have a son. I have a daughter. I much prefer my adopted daughter to Harry, the son of my birth son.
So do you think when Jerry hit that retweet button, he's like, "Take that, Kirk. Fuck off, Kirk."
I just thought it was an asshole. I thought it was an asshole thing to retweet by a guy who I increasingly starting to think is an asshole. And you know what? It's Jerry's. Let Jerry talk. We'll give Jerry a few minutes and I'll respond. Okay, the floor is here.
All right, I'll let me talk for Jerry since he's not here. But
Jerry's pussy is the size of fucking Wisconsin.
I did say that I thought he should come on because he's confronted Trenny before and Tomasi, and like he's the guy that.
That's not me though. He's not me.
Because I think he is legitimately thinks you're crazy. Like that guy's fucking nuts. And I think that I just think he just doesn't, and I think he doesn't want to deal with the Minifans, who I think are fucking assholes too.
Sure. And he would know crazy well, but I would say, for him, we did for years, guys wouldn't come on the show, and then we kick the shit out of them for being pussies. So he's a pussy. Like, I don't know how else to really, like, what if
that's fair. That's fair.
Turtle was listening to a 2018 Kirk and Callahan segment, and some guy came on and wouldn't come on, and we'd be killing him. You'd be nodding in the car. Like
I completely agree. I'm on your side with that. He should.
So I think the core of our issue comes down to this: is that I don't really care what somebody's pronouns are, and you
do though. You do.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you go. But I think you think, and I think you might even be right. I could be wrong. That me being like, well, I don't care about the pronouns is sort of a gateway drug to the larger overall issue. Am I articulating that properly?
Well, my issue is that by using the wrong, because there's right pronouns and there's wrong ones. The right ones are the ones guys are he, him, right, and girls are she, her. And so by going out of your way to call Dylan Mulvaney she, her, which you did several times yesterday, you are picking it. You're no longer a fence sitter. You've chosen a side.
Well, I just think I don't know why. Like, I just think it's almost like, what do I? If an adult, it's different, and I think what's going on in schools and indoctrination is a very real thing, and especially the state I live in and you live in is a real scary situation. I don't know how it's going to.
You know where I was just coming from? You know where I was just at?
Yeah, I just saw that. So I don't know how that's going to get corrected. Like, I really don't. Like, I just don't. I think that the colleges and the high schools is just we're gone. But if a 26-year-old, I always think of when I used to do TV. It used to be Comcast. Now it's NBC Sports. This is way before this all really got super heated. There was a person there who was identifying as a woman, and she worked like at a desk job, and she kind of did her job and she left and she didn't make a big racket. And I think this was a person who wanted to live as a woman, and she was perfectly nice and very respectful.
What does that mean? Live as a woman?
Well, she identified as a woman. She was living her life as a woman, born a man.
What are they identifying as?
Well, born a man, but now if you said to her, what are?
But what does that mean? How do you live as a woman? What do you do every day?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know because I'm not a woman. I don't know that.
Like, do you sit to pee?
It's a good question. I never really,
because I don't know what that means. Like, because a man can put on a dress too.
Sure.
A man can put so you're not really living as a woman. You're dressing.
My larger point was, this is a very nice person, and if this person, if it's better for this person if I use pronoun she, her, to like, how does that make my life any? Like, what's the big deal? Like, because
you're lying. You're lying
to who?
Yourself. Because you know that it's not a she, her. You know that.
But if she feels that way, what does it matter to me? Like, what does it matter? What
if she feels like a zebra?
Then you call her a zebra. Like,
so then pronouns are meaningless. You're saying that pronouns are absolutely meaningless.
Well, aren't they? Like, really, at the end of the day?
No, they are. Words have meanings. And I
agree. Words do. But like, they're all silly. Like, at the end of, like, do I think that somebody who's born male should only be allowed to participate in sports against other people born male? But yes, I do.
Why?
Because it's a huge physical advantage. We know that.
Doesn't matter. But like, by doing the pronouns thing, you're legitimizing the idea that they are in fact women. So you got to go all the way. How can you just be like,
that's now you say words have actions. Now is it Fallon Fox? Is that the MMA fighter's name?
Yes. Fallon Fox.
That is different than pronouns. That is actual physical violence. It's a different situation than saying, I'm going to call this person he or she or they. That to me is almost like courtesy. Versus this other thing, which is real life, which is somebody can break their friggin' jaw. If you don't see the difference in that, then we just disagree.
But Leah Thomas can't break anyone's jaw.
No, but she can compete and dominate the sport against them.
So what?
Well, that could also have some sort of financial ramifications.
Oh, yeah, a lot of money in women's college swimming.
No, but listen, it's going to happen in the WNBA one day. It's going to happen in the LPGA Tour one day.
The big money in the WNBA.
The LPGA Tour, you can make $2, $3, $4 million a year.
Yeah, LPGA you can for sure.
Which by we both know it's heading tennis. It's heading that way. It is heading that way.
But don't you see like what you're doing with the domino effect? Like, you give them this, why wouldn't they expect that?
Well, that's what I said to you at the top. I think you view this more when I say that it's sort of a gateway, which sort of leads to a bigger.
Yes.
Which I understand. I do understand that thought process. I just look at it as, there's enough shit going on in the world. If a 28-year-old feels more comfortable and wants to be called that pronoun, I'll call them that pronoun. That to me is like, there are 50,000, we're spending frigging $75 trillion in fucking Ukraine right now. I'm more concerned about that than with a 36.
We're on the same page with Ukraine.
With a 36-year-old wants to be called in Des Moines. I'm just not I'm telling you, it's just not a war that I've ever. If I was on this show 8 years ago, I would have said the same thing. Absolutely would have said.
I don't think you would have. That's where I disagree.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing before the merchants.
I think the Kirk that called Erin Andrews a gutless bitch would not be using Dylan Mulvaney's calling Dylan. I mean, it's ridiculous to call Dylan Mulvaney is a dude. He's a dude.
I'll call a 23-year-old a cunt. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've lost that. What happened?
No, but what people liked about you and how I think you built your personal brand was
I'm way bigger than
authenticity. Authenticity. This is like to me. This is nothing, like Howie Hampton's Kirk.
There's nothing. There's nothing. You're just doing a shtick now. Like, there's nothing inauthentic. You just don't like it.
I don't think the old Kirk would have done that.
Would have done what?
I can't prove that. I can't prove the
called Dylan
with a straight face calling Dylan Mulvaney she her.
Sure, all day.
Is Dylan Mulvaney a boy or a girl? A man
She
or a woman?
identifies as a woman.
Is she a man or a woman? Is he a man or a woman?
She identifies as a woman.
But what is he? Who cares what they identify? What are they?
A woman.
Dylan Mulvaney's a woman.
Born a man and now identifies as a woman.
But is he a woman?
Is he? Well, that's what
is he a woman? Is he a woman?
Yes.
What makes him a woman?
She identifies as it.
But what does that mean?
But why? Here's my bigger question: why do you care so much? Like, what is
because
going
truth
on?
matters. Because truth matters.
What is it? Why is it breaking your side so much? Like,
because truth matters. This is a war on truth. If we don't have truth, then what do we have?
Dylan Mulvaney was born with a penis and now wants to be identified as a woman. Like we all I think we all get it.
So what do we get? We
get that this person was born with a penis, has male parts. I don't think should be allowed to participate in sports against. I don't think Dylan Mulvaney's going to do that. But and now identifies as a woman, and I'm totally, as I would have been in 2015, 16, 17, totally okay with that. And I would have been making fun of Jerry.
Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight? Ronda Rousey or Dylan Mulvaney?
I would say Ronda Rousey.
So why can't Dylan Mulvaney fight UFC?
Well, I'm going to guess that if you did certain tests and looked at certain,
he would lose. So what does it matter? Does it only matter? Does it only matter when they win?
No, I think you got to be consistent on that, right? I mean, I think there has to be rules across the board for that, don't you think? I mean, I don't know how I mean,
it's like
it's ungovernable. I think probably. So I mean, it's good. I think we're in a world now where you're going to have in 20, 30, well, I don't know what's going to look like in 30 years. Will there be like a third division? I have no idea. I don't even know. It's going so friggin' fast. Like it is wild, the speed of it.
You've said before that you don't think this fight is like we've talked about this privately, and you're like, that one's over. Like, concede that one, you've lost that one. I disagree with that. And like in 18 states in the country, they've passed laws banning this from happening. Like,
I know, but where we live, I'm just saying where we live. Where we live, it's over. It's for friggin' dead.
Right, but there is an active, like, the right has rallied around this issue. Because it's an issue that affects women, like more than anything, it affects women. It doesn't really affect men that much.
I don't disagree with that.
But you don't think you're contributing to that?
No, I don't think I'm contributing a whole lot to
by doing the she/her thing.
I do not. You think I'm contributing? Like, walk me through the process in America, financially or any other way, how I have contributed this by calling Dylan Mulvaney she.
Because you have legitimized the false belief.
That's why Dylan Mulvaney got that beer deal. Because a guy at Barstool Sports called her she/her?
Dylan Mulvaney got the...
Because of me? You said I've legitimized her. How have I done that?
By calling him her. You've legitimized the idea that this is a woman. It's not a woman.
Okay.
Because what is a woman? Can you define woman for me?
A woman is... I can look up the actual definition if you want.
Yeah, I mean, how would you define woman? This is an easy one.
I would say somebody who identifies as a female. It's always been my definition.
What's a female?
1974 when I was born.
What's a female?
A female is somebody with either a vagina or a penis, I think.
So females have... So there is no definition.
At least one penis, probably.
So a woman is just a human being, because we're all human beings.
Of course, the most natural definition of woman is somebody, of course, born with a vagina, I would say.
Okay, so a woman is a person with a vagina.
Correct. That's. I think you're walking me into something that, like, you think
it's called logic, though. I mean,
but here's the thing. Like, at the core, I don't think we strongly disagree. My point is, if somebody wakes up one day and says they feel like they're a goddamn lion, I'll fucking call them a lion. I don't care. There are 50,000 other things I care way more about than this. I just do. You don't. And you think I'm making
all right,
this
so
stuff,
does your daughter does your daughter do sports and stuff?
She swims.
Okay, and you, if a man decided that if a boy classmate decided to become a girl and raced against your daughter, is that why you care? Because that aspect of transgenderism.
I don't particularly care that much about that either. What I'm saying is, it's how I feel about it is it's a huge unfair advantage physically. So then it's just ridiculous. But if somebody is going to their office, typing and going home, doesn't bother me that much. If somebody is boxing or playing golf or tennis and there's money involved and there's people's scholarships involved, and then to me it's a different conversation. Like, it doesn't have to do with the fact that Kate swims. I mean, if that happens, I'm sure it'll be a huge situation. Although where I live, it probably won't be.
So what if your daughter was like said that they wanted to be a boy? What would you do?
I can tell you exactly what I would do. I think this hasn't happened to me yet, so I shouldn't say this. But it would be a lot of conversations. First of all, I think the dangerous thing as a parent to do, and I remember you were on the show yesterday crying that you had to have a conversation with your kid after a soccer game. Life as a parent is full of difficult conversations. You have to get used to that. I would, have a lot of conversations, therapy, and then see where we're at. I don't think the simple thing is to say no. You're a woman. I think is super dangerous.
What do you think? What kind of people?
Hold on. Kids rebel naturally. Like they're just going to rebel if you say, basically, essentially, fuck you. You're a girl. They're not going to go along with that. But like, would I right away say to my 13-year-old kid, hey, let's wheel him to Children's Hospital and get some surgery? Of course not. Of course not.
Well, you mentioned therapy. What kind of people do you think generally?
Well, I think you got to be careful with that too. Well, I think you got to be very careful with that. That's what I was going to say as well. Is you have to do your research either way. You have to do
what percent of child therapists do you think subscribe to the idea that a man can become a woman?
Well, I mean,
it's a guess.
In Massachusetts, 86%.
Yeah, that's like 60%? I think
that's what I'm saying. So, and by the way, like if that at its base, if it's a reasonable, like I think you think that person is inherently unreasonable. If that person is somebody you can have a conversation with, like you and I are having, that's okay. If it's somebody whose mind has snapped, that's a totally different conversation.
Right. I mean, I can have a conversation with anybody who just doesn't yell and whatever, but I don't think either of us is going to agree at the end of the conversation.
Right.
I know
what I mean.
Right.
There are people who are just,
I guess my point here is that if you send them, like, I think therapy is the problem. I think so many of these parents are just handing off tough parenting decisions to therapists because it's easier.
But I also think, but no, I don't disagree. I also think, but I think therapy is a healthy thing. Like I've done it for a long time. I think it's something, you should do and have conversations.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about 7-year-olds with gender issues.
I think that's the equivalent of gay conversion camps on the other side, honestly, which are insane. Like they're just fucked up. So
isn't transgenderism just one big conversion therapy?
Well, here's the thing. I think now what you're having, and then you read about it every day, is you do have people in the transgender community who are acting as therapists or consultants for kids. And I think they think, this is a comfortable, natural lifestyle, fine. But sometimes I do wonder what kind of pressure is being put on these kids. And that's a totally different situation because these kids, either whether it's gay conversion, whether it's doing drugs, whether it's transgender, whether it's anything. I mean, I have a teenage daughter now. I have a son who's 11. I mean, these people can be swayed by adults who A, seem smart, and B, tell you what you want to hear and what they hear all the time. So I think we kind of agree on this, where it's kind of I think we almost agree on everything except for the fact I just don't care. Like if I told you right now, I woke up tomorrow, I was like, I'm a friggin' 6-iron. I want to be identified as a 6-iron. I'd be like, all right, that's kind of weird, but knock yourself out.
Did you understand my point about my kid yesterday? It's because because it used to be about 20 years ago, whatever, gay marriage. It's just like, we just want to get married and just leave us alone. And I'm down with that. The libertarian in me is down with that. But that's not what this is. You're being forced to participate in this. You have no choice but to use the pronouns. You must use the pronouns. People lose their job. A teacher does not have the option to make that choice. Do you think people should have that choice?
Absolutely. And I think the scary thing is, and I say this to my daughter all the time, because, things are moving so fast that, in she and her friends, they're fine. They joke around. But there are people I've seen, obviously I've dealt with it professionally, where if you misidentify somebody, even if you're trying, that's where it gets difficult, where it's like, this thing's going so goddamn fast, at least slow down and let's have a conversation before, if I misgender you, you're ready to kick me out, shame me so I can never fucking work again, is so counterproductive at best that, that's what I think leads to a lot of this anger, which I understand. Like I've been in rooms where this stuff has happened. I've been party to it. I mean, Murchison, took down WEI because of that, which is
so. Let me go there. So, considering that the irony of this all is that you literally lost your job because of a transgender activist acting in bad faith, working against you. Do you not see the irony of what you're doing now to Gerry over that tweet?
I'm not doing anything to Gerry. Gerry's not losing his job.
You don't think it was an overreaction?
But that's different. You think that's different? Am I calling Jerry's advertisers? Am I calling the Boston?
I think that's next.
Are you out of your mind?
You don't think? You're above that.
Hold on. You can't compare me having a reaction on my show to Bob Murchison literally calling Shirley and then contacting advertisers every single day.
Oh no,
ludicrous.
You're a sprinter. He's a long distance runner.
Walk that back. You know that's
no. You bust your. You get it all out in 7 minutes. Bob Murchison plays the long game.
First of all, it would take me 30 seconds to call all of Jerry's advertisers. A. And B, I wouldn't want to do that. I have no interest in doing that.
Okay, that was good.
I have no interest in doing that. Jerry can say, here's the thing. I'll fight back. I'll lose my mind, and he won't say anything. That's the way it's always been. Like, look, you can look up Turtleboy, an old story. I think he called it the Red Massive Ratings. The first ratings book after I left, Jerry was still there.
Oh, it's horrible.
They went down 70%. They were seventh in the range before I got there. Like, look, Jerry's who Jerry is. That's fine. Like, he was a friend for a while. We had a show together for a couple of years. No big deal. He is now what I find disappointing about Jerry is like he just has no, like, you and I having this conversation, or like, you and I have a core disagreement, but you'll say, oh, I agree with you on this, or I'll say he's just so inflexible now, and I think he just wants to be like the
Jerry is the easiest guy to get along with in the world. He acts on the air. You would think he's this rugged conservative dude. I've gotten to know Jerry as a person. He is one of the most laid back people I've ever met.
Okay.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
That's why he's not on here right now, in my opinion, is because he doesn't like, I don't know if it's just getting older. He just doesn't like the confrontation anymore.
I think he'd be on it with somebody else.
Like, when's the last time Jerry fought someone on a podcast?
He's afraid. He's a pussy. We don't disagree on that.
I just think it's new Jerry. I think new Jerry is laid back old Jerry. Like,
this
is like close to retirement Jerry.
I'm on here with you, and like Jerry didn't want you to be on, wouldn't let you go on the show anymore because his producer complained. Like, that's a difference.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Let's talk about that. What did you think? What did you think of the Carano thing?
I thought Jerry. Well, I don't like Carano. Like, I thought Jerry was a pussy on that. I'd be like, and I talked to you. That's the thing. You and I have talked off the air a lot about stuff, whether it's health issues or mental health issues or family health issues or whatever. That was one of the times you reached out to me, and I was like, play the long game. And
I couldn't do it. I
guess I was also like, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. So I think Jerry's also in a tough spot where, like, look, I have a pretty successul podcast and I have a good audience, and I'm going to go do another show. It's going to have a couple thousand people in a few months, and Jerry doesn't have that. And I think he misses the Kirk and Callahan show, where I don't miss the Kirk and Callahan show.
But you work for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Jerry's the little engine that could.
Sure, but let's be honest. Like, I wouldn't be the same. But if I got fired tomorrow, I would drag an audience somewhere else. Like, that's like not even an argument. I mean, I just like.
Have you thought of that? I mean, are you going to work at Barstool forever?
Yeah, because I'm going to retire next year. So yeah, I got one more year.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I turn 50. I'll be 50 next year.
Then what are you going to do? Kill the time.
It's a good question. I would think probably, the chance to work with Bob and Shirley full time is enticing. Maybe Shirley Birch. Yeah. Me, Bob, and Shirley sort of calling people. Colleen's a canceled guy now. We could probably get into business full time and make a living.
So all right, so let me ask you about Callahan. So if Callahan was on Jerry's show, if he was still Jerry's producer, would he be using he, him pronouns for Dylan Mulvaney?
0.0.
So he would be using she, her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, your question was he'd be doing whatever.
So basically, Callahan is literally incapable of any sort of thought.
Typical producer. He just does whatever like Chris Curtis. You think Chris Curtis likes the Greg Hill show? Like, those guys just do what they do. I mean, that's what
Curtis has opinions. Steve Robinson has opinions sometimes. Sure. So, like, Dave Cullen's like a trained monkey who will just go.
He has no soul. Yeah, he has no. He's just trying to make a living. Absolutely, no, of course. You think Cullen has any thoughts on the transgender issue in America? Well, here's what
I mean, Callahan. Is there anyone who's ever had a problem with Dave Callahan ever?
It's Callahan.
That's how you pronounce it. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, some people. I think Howie did for a while.
Howie?
Kathy, who runs the whole show.
Oh.
I forget.
You mean Steve?
What's that?
You mean Steve?
No. Dave was doing some consult. I forget something. I don't Barry. I don't fucking know. But yeah, minimum. But no. But to answer your previous question, no. Dave would be doing. But by the way, if Gerry was still on the EI, he would be playing the she/her dancing for Dylan Mulvaney like nobody's fucking business.
You think so?
Oh fuck yes, fuck yes, no question.
Yeah, I guess in those 6 months there, Gerry did seem a little bit neutered after you left. It wasn't the same. It wasn't.
And I would just go back to again, like maybe you can find it. Like if we had a lot of arguments about the transgender stuff, like while it was going on, and the whole time I said I don't like. It's not an issue. We joked around one day. It's an issue I've not given a lot of thought to at the time. Obviously, it's gotten bigger. I completely understand where you're coming from. And I think it's different. Everything's different in Massachusetts. The state is going to fucking hell at 3,000 miles an hour. I don't know. Like, I don't even know why you're still here. Why aren't you like
family, man? It's just family. It just sucks.
Go to Mississippi. Like,
I would. My family doesn't live in Mississippi. It's like I like my mom.
Family, I mean,
yeah. Like my parents. It's just they ain't leaving. They're 70. They're not leaving. So it's like grandparents. It's like on both sides of the family. I would be out in a second if I did not have like familial relations with this state, because it's this country more and more. Like states are just completely different countries. And I think that's why people are talking about national divorce and civil war for the first time in forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, you talk about every 4 years, but you look at, let's say it's DeSantis versus whoever. Let's say it's Biden, for argument's sake. And, all the Republicans are going to be like, this is crazy. Biden can't even speak. It doesn't matter who's nominated. Like everything's done except for 4 states. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
I think that's the case if Trump gets the nomination. I think if Trump gets the nomination, and that's why I don't want Trump is incapable of winning a landslide. Trump is only capable of winning by the skin of his teeth and then lose it. Like there's
I think every election is going to be pretty close from now on. I just think the country's that. I get what you're saying.
I think that Ron DeSantis, the more people see him, and like he won Florida with 60%. I think for the first time if he gets the nomination, I made this prediction. He's going to win New Jersey. He's going to win Virginia. He's going to win states that Republicans haven't won since Ronald Reagan.
I guess the ultimate question with DeSantis, when I look at it, is we're going to know everything we need to know about DeSantis like 4 minutes into the first debate with Trump. Is he like Jeb Bush? Is he just a wet noodle?
I think we already know. Trump's been going at him for months.
But it's different when he's standing next to Trump. Or is Trump at the point now where even the Republicans are going to be like, after 3 minutes, like, fuck this. Like, we're so sick of this fucking act. I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm not a trick. It's like if Trump gets fucking nominated, I'm going to be so depressed. I'm like, we're really fucking doing this again. And because I can't defend Donald Trump to people. Like there are people that I could sell Ron DeSantis to people. Like, oh, he did this and he did this, and this is like good. I wouldn't even waste my breath. I would vote for him because whatever, but I wouldn't waste a second of my time trying to convince someone because it's pointless. Everyone's got their mind made up on him.
Yeah. And I don't, I think that's true. And I do look like, I'd be open to voting for DeSantis all day. Like I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'll tell you that is not going to happen. So
he's going to be the nominee at this point.
I guess. I don't know. If you would give me odds when he got elected that he'd be the nominee again, I would have said 25-1. So I'm shocked. Like even watching him today, I'm like, this is absolutely crazy.
It just doesn't matter. I mean, with him and Fetterman, it's been redefined that like it really doesn't matter how brain dead you are. You just have to have the D and you'll have a staff around you. It's taken care of. You just got to punch the right button to vote the right way and sign the right document. Do you think Joe Biden knows who Dylan Mulvaney is? Do you think he invited Dylan Mulvaney to the White House?
No, I would say that probably wasn't the case. Though, I will say, as I always say, like even today, I'm reading like Mitch McConnell's coming back to work because he like fell down. He didn't work for. I'm like, everyone is so goddamn old all over the place. Can somebody be like 44 years old? Is that so much to fucking ask?
Yeah, Ron DeSantis.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, can somebody be 38? Like 40? About 52? Like, it's unbelievable.
Well, Democrats don't have it's amazing that they don't have like a farm system. Like they don't Obama's not walking through that door and there's nothing close to it.
Well, Harris stinks. Like Buttigieg I don't think he's not going to be a national candidate. So there's just they have not they've not found it. They lucked into DeSantis, the Republic. If there was no DeSantis, who would there be?
Oh yeah, no, we'd be in trouble. Well, Glenn Youngkin's okay. He won Virginia.
But I'm not sure. Like now, like DeSantis is kind of a star, and the Democrats
He
don't
is.
have that star. So, yeah,
Yeah, they're all just the same. They all have to be the same cookie cutter. Like you cannot get the nomination, and this is what I don't like about it: is the politics of the she/herism. You have no choice if you want to be the Democratic nominee for president. You have to be all in on the pronoun train. It's not up for debate.
Well, why can't there? Right, I do agree with that. But why can't there be a Republican candidate who runs who says, you know what, I am for super limited government. I want you to keep all your money. I want to lower taxes, but you know what? Like, I actually think women should have the right to choose.
Well, you have some like that.
But they have no chance, though. They have no chance of a general nomination.
Oh yeah. I mean, with abortion, definitely.
Would you care?
I mean, it depends. You'd have to give me the candidate. I wouldn't vote for Charlie Baker. I think he's horrible.
No, he stinks. Charlie Baker's a Democrat. He's a pussy. But I'm saying it's a good Republican candidate who's like, look, I want to limit government. I want you to keep your money. I want taxes to be low. I want to do this. What?
I'm a big government Republican. I think I think that the whole Republican idea of conservatism of like small government is self-defeating because you get power and then you're like, fuck it, I don't want to do anything with it.
I want no part of the Department of fucking Education. I want no part of these, I don't want to spend $1 overseas in any war until we get our shit fixed.
That I agree with completely.
And I've been saying that forever. And when the final bill comes in for this friggin', you're gonna vomit. For what? I don't even understand it. For what?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean yesterday, Elizabeth Warren. I was going to do a blog on this today. Elizabeth Warren, Michelle Wu, Maura Healey, and Ayanna Pressley were in Roxbury yesterday, and this guy Joe DePina shows up, who's he's hilarious. He's a heckler. He got sued. He got arrested by Rachel Rollins for heckling her. It was a crazy story. Anyway, so they showed up there, and a bunch of protesters, one after one, they must have coordinated, got up and just kept asking about Ukraine and pushing her on that. And they like booed, like the Democrat, like everybody likes war in Ukraine. And it's like, dude, people are getting shot and killed in Roxbury every day. Most of whom are black. And the people on stage give a fuck much more about someone getting shot in Kiev than they do about the person getting shot in Roxbury.
It's another thing. Like I actually feel like, obviously it would never happen, but if there was a viable, good Republican candidate running against Liz Warren, I think that person would do like in the low 40s this time. I'm not saying
there was. His name was Scott Brown.
That was years ago, though. I'm saying like
he was the incumbent.
Right, but he was. But I think he was not one of the great campaigners of all time or debaters.
To win Ted Kennedy's seat, you have.
That was a weird time. That was peak Tea Party like craziness. Like the country was.
And he ran against a weak candidate, but he lost. Like he was the guy that proved that Massachusetts can't have moderation, because you have this guy who is a pro-choice Republican who is like a complete moderate to get on there, and they're like, "Fuck it, you're not good enough."
Right. I always wonder that. I'm always wondering, like, who, I don't know. Nobody I know votes for Elizabeth Warren, of course, but she's going to get 68%. So
no one you live in Lexington.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, friends I talked to, people I talked to. I never spoke to anybody who's like, who's great? Elizabeth Warren. They just vote for her. Like, if Ted Kennedy were still alive today.
A lot of people like her. People like her. People love her.
If Ted Kennedy were alive today, he'd be what, like 94 or something?
Yeah.
And he'd be elected if he was still running for Senate in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. He'd be younger than at least 4 other people in the Senate. So why wouldn't he?
You get like 62%. It's wild. And, I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that we came to some agreement, and you will now identify people properly by that. But it's about time.
I already do. I already do.
So congratulations. Keep up this incredibly important fight against pronouns.
It's the truth. That's what we're fighting for.
As the world goes to hell over this stupid fucking war.
Truth matter. Well, the war is the war. The war is going to happen no matter what, because both sides support it. So, like, that's an over issue. Like, the Ukraine thing's never going to end. We're going to be there forever. Hopefully, we don't send Americans to die over there. That would really suck.
It's inevitable. Well, let's give Gerry the final word. I think he's been good tonight.
What do you got, Gerry?
I mean, that's disappointing. What did he say to you when you asked him to come on?
He just felt uncomfortable doing it.
What does he call you? The what? The perverted weird.
The weird Worcester blogger.
Weird Worcester blogger.
The weird Worcester blogger.
Oh.
What I just took from him is like he just seemed it's like retirement Jerry. He's just avoiding conflict,
Yep.
avoiding conversation,
Yep.
filling out, doing the last few days, going through the motions, doing his podcast every morning. He likes his life. And I think he's one of the most laid back, chill dudes ever to a fault, because so let's talk about the Carano thing. And I think that's where it caught up to him, because like he was so afraid of confrontation that he was too afraid to tell Carano, you work for me, you're going to do what I tell you to do.
I think he had PTSD because he really took a beating when I left for those 6 months, and he pretended like the new show, like he would do that thing, and he was just getting, and I think he just, like it started, when he did this again, he started getting feedback from your guys on Twitter, and he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, what can I do? So and I think you're right. I think that is his way now. I think he's just punting on fourth and, running on 3rd and 8 and punting and just calling it a day. But but before I go, I do want to bring up, because you wrote about it again. I mean, I feel like I could do an entire season of the case just on Benjamin Albright, I think may have murdered like 70 people. Like, I think it's like, I think there's darkness. There's things there that I don't even think have been examined. Like, there's a level.
I talked to Steve about that yesterday. It's like, he's going to kill someone someday.
There's a Zodiac kind of thing where it's just, it's wild. I appreciate you, defending us then, like you did with Murchison. But like, I forgot, like I talked to Steve as well, and we were talking about some of the old stories about his dad playing on the PGA Tour.
I forgot it all. Reliving that, I'm like, holy shit. Dude, that whole thing was insane that he did this, and he still works for IR Radio. Like, that's crazy. Did they not Google? Talk about a pathological liar. Can I give you a recommendation for the case? You probably get these pitches a lot.
I stole season 2 from you, so yeah, go ahead.
It's not like that. But a great story, and one that really bothers me, is out of Lowell, Massachusetts. It's a story I covered 2 years ago. There was a woman named Emily Nieves. Have you heard of her before by any chance?
I think I've heard of the story. I'll look it up. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So she was, it's like Emely, Nieves. And she was found, she had an abusive boyfriend who was arrested multiple times for like kicking the shit out of her. One day, and he lives with his mother, Tina Degree, who was this insane BLM activist that's been arrested a million times before, just ratchet as hell. And one day, Emily Nieves dies. And they found so they call, and she had blunt force trauma to the head. Right. That's what she died of. Right. And they're saying, well, it's because she fell out of a bed, and that was just the end of it. They didn't call 911 for hours. She called her 2 sons and her spiritual therapist. Like, I'm telling you, look into that story, because, and I don't want to sound, I'm going to be woke here. If Emily Nieves was named Emily, Johnson or Emily Cunningham or some shit like that, she would have justice right now.
Well, I think
because she's a Dominican girl from Lowell. Nobody gives a shit about her.
Well, I guess the right. And I kept bringing up for the first 2 seasons that we did Jennifer Faye and Brockton, and obviously Sandra, and Stoughton. And like, let's be honest, if those girls looked like, the blonde, blue-eyed girls you see on Dateline all the time, totally different.
Gabby Petito.
Right. Yes. Even Lacey Peterson, right? Like a big smile, or that kind of. Like, there's something. Who's the girl? Is it Amanda Knox? It was a huge story.
The Italian girl, the girl.
Yeah, like that became a massive story. The girl in Florida who killed her kid, who got away with it. Like, it becomes this sort of, thing that you're right. Like, that becomes, you see it in like, I've talked to Steve Robinson about this stuff. In reservation country where these girls are missing. Honestly, you should. I know you're too busy. You're doing 70 stories a day, but like, you should look into doing one of those.
I would love to, if I had the time. I would love to. I find that stuff fascinating, and that's why I like the case. The case, I highly for those of you guys don't know, Kirk started this side thing almost with Barstool, and they literally solved a murder. You solved the murder, correct?
So one so far. I think there's gonna be a second arrest on that soon.
Well, he's already been charged. In the Stoughton case, but not with
Jennifer Faye in Brockton. So side when we wound up in South Carolina forever, me and Steve Robinson, and that led to an arrest for a case that was cold.
What was that guy's name? Kevin something.
Kevin.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Kevin Craig was the person who he's been charged with his murder, and then there's a woman, April Jones, down there that we're pretty convinced Mailer killed as well. That first season was wild. The second season, you did the Sandra Birchmore story, and I give you credit for that because and I've talked to a lot of police officers about that. I just talked to one the other day. That is not an anti-police story.
No, it's not.
That is an anti-shitty police story. Most police officers are great, and I say that all the time. Now that's unpopular at Barstool to say, but but once in a while there are lousy cops, like there are lousy accountants or lousy podcast hosts. They should be fucking called out. And when they take advantage of girls and trade them around and have sex with them, and then they wind up dead, and it's basically swept under the rug, other than the two people on the screen right now, that's a problem.
When you're at Barstool headquarters, what do you talk about with people who are half your age? Like those are your coworkers. You're one of the oldest people there, obviously.
I might be the oldest person there. What's funny is honestly, like a bunch of those people who got really worked up in the summer of 2020 are now gone.
Was Ellie Schnitt?
Ellie Schnitt was definitely one of them.
And there was the Tyler guy, the black guy.
He left. And I think a lot of people would probably acknowledge now that in the heat of the moment. Now, I think turning your Instagram profile to completely black certainly solved a lot of the nation's racial problems. But it's like that's. I also think to your point earlier about Riley Ginsburg being fair, being 23. I do think some of these people who are 24, 25, when major things happen, like if I had social media when I think Challenger, whatever the hell, would probably be overreactive. Certainly on 9/11, I think if I had Twitter, I'm sure I would say things that were not the smartest thing to say.
I'm embarrassed of shit that I said 7 years ago.
Me
too.
What I mean?
8 years ago. I'm like, 50, cringe. Like, I can't believe I wrote that. Yikes.
But I think it's crazy that then people are destroyed for the rest of their lives. Unless it's somebody I hate, then we try and find them and then bring them down for those tweets. But yeah.
You have to be a real asshole, like a piece of shit, like irredeemable, like Bob Murchison.
Correct. Well, my favorite story since I started at Barstool, I say this all the time, is that story about the guy who basically took down, some guy won a contest like free beer for life in Iowa. And this guy found some old tweets that he wrote and wrote a story about it.
Oh, yeah.
Then the guy who wrote the story had old tweets and somebody found that and he got fired. Like,
that was hilarious.
The world
that was so wild. I forgot about that story. I
forgot
about that. Do you guys have any questions for Kirk before we go? I know you got to go. You guys have any questions for Kirk? Anything you guys want to ask him? I feel like, we've hit the big shit. We're not going to agree on that, but it was a good conversation. It's rare these days to have people actually talk about that stuff. So that's cool.
You know me, I'll do it anytime. I mean, the only thing I would take offense, not offense to, I don't care. But your suggestion of being disingenuous, like it's something I wouldn't have said 8 years ago. Was just like I was the guy who always pushed back on Gerry and that stuff. Always. I think that's what people liked about it.
It's not, I don't think you're being, in my opinion, I don't think you're being intentionally disingenuous. I think it's almost like subconsciously, like if that makes sense.
But I have no feel like I'm not going to get canceled. Like I'm on I'm on a Barstool podcast. No one's people on the radio get canceled,
People are saying they're looking forward to the Plymouth show. When is that?
That is August 5th. 6th.
Who does that for you? Who books all that?
Me and Coney does it.
Yeah. So people are saying, Turtleboy, your fans are shitting on Kirk because a lot of them have no exposure to you.
I've seen some tweets, which is I think it's funny because it's like what people deal with when it happens in my show. Like, how mad can I get if your fans are shitting on me? That's great. That's okay.
Well, they don't know they don't know you. They haven't followed you like I follow you. I know the whole history. And so they don't get it. Like, they weren't there for the Murchison Wars. They weren't there for Aaron Andrews Gate. They weren't there for all that shit. And so I would say for the people shitting on Kirk, go read about his past. Like, go read about how he got where he is today. And I think you'll have a newfound respect for him because the man speaks his mind. Like, that's his whole brand.
Go fuck off. I don't care. Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Let's see. Why is Kirk easily offended? So that's one question people ask a lot. Is it an act at all?
No, you know that. I think you know that by now. Certainly.
I know that, but
no, certainly not. No, I get worked up.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people are like, is this an act? Like Toucher and Rich have said it's an act.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, I don't know. But no, look, I have it. Like I said, the adoption thing I do is a particular trigger for me. I'll completely admit that, especially with Kate, and like I said in the show the other day, she's not had a great, year or two. So when I see that stuff, I do get super, as a parent, hypersensitive to that. So I will cop to be guilty on that completely, like 1,000%.
Have you considered unfollowing Gerry if you're this upset by his tweets?
I unfollowed him. Yeah, I unfollowed.
Oh, you did. Okay, so because if it's triggering you, which I think it was, why not just unfollow?
We were also legitimately like best friends. Like we were as close as like we were. Like,
and you're gonna end a friendship over a retweet.
Well, it's been a lot of like I think there's been a lot of stuff too on his end and my end where it's just as like
yeah, your fans fucking hate me.
Well, you know what? You know why, and I can't blame him on this one. And I think you did a 180 on this one. Is
Which
you dumped all over me when I was away on mental health leave, if I remember correctly.
Okay, let's address that because I feel like I was misinterpreted. It's one of those things that comes across wrong in tweets.
When temperatures got warm, you pretended like you were having some sad situations yourself, and that's okay.
Stop it.
I get
Stop
that.
it.
I get that.
Stop it. So back then when that happened, right? Like what I was trying to say was that like I was trying to compliment Steve Robinson. It was like in it. I'm like, I go, okay, so Kirk's, yeah. So you were on a break. And I'm like, my tweet was something like, the show must go on.
Right.
Like Steve should run shows. Steve is entertaining. And your fans fucking ripped into me for that.
Well, Steve is not entertaining. But
I think he's entertaining. I'm a Steve Robinson guy.
Me too. Oh, me too. But like the Kirk Minihane show, it's different. Like if Steve Robinson took over, like what they want to hear every day, that's what you would want to hear. That's not what they
Yes, that is what I would want to hear. Yes.
So you should just hire Steve to come to your house and do shows for you while I was gone.
I could listen to Steve Robinson talk about politics all day.
But I think from your appearance the other day, it just like I think most of my fans, or a lot of them anyway, with the merchant stuff years ago, and like even stuff like the other day when you called in and we kind of thought, but not really. Even tonight, they're so used to people afraid to come on. That it's like when somebody comes on and legitimately disagrees, like that's so rare now. 7-8 years ago, we could do that all day. Now it never happens. It's gone.
Yeah, it is. Why is that? Like why are people
we
so
disagree? Like you think Dylan Mulvaney should be called one pronoun. I think another. So we disagree on it. So
then we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Next thing you know, we're talking about Ukraine and shit.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah. What do you think of Carano? What did you think of that whole thing with him when he left? Do you think because do you know why he was pissed off?
No, I don't remember because I don't listen to Jerry. I never listened to Jerry Showing, which wasn't for me.
Well, did you see all the storm stuff on Twitter? There's all these people being like, he's sending pictures of kids in his bathtub and all this crazy shit. Carano saw those tweets and he was like, oh, this is legit. Well, he said that to Jerry. These are serious accusations.
I remember talking to Jerry about it, and I said, because Jerry's like, you think it's true? I was like, I don't think so. I said, obviously, if it is true, that's a real situation.
I'd be arrested. I'd lose I wouldn't have my kids.
But I was like, if it's not true, like, I wouldn't worry about it. I think Jerry, but did you go back on eventually or no?
No, because after a while, I just didn't want to go back. I mean, to be honest, like I'll go. I don't beg to go on shows. If he wants to have me on and he invites me on, I'll go on. But I'm not like being like, Jerry, can I come back on? I'm not doing that. I think he likes doing it by himself.
Oh, he definitely does. He likes doing his little monologue and pretends he's like Dan Bongino or whatever. And like it's good. It's like fantasy camp for him, I think, at this point.
What do you think he's going to talk about tomorrow? Hunter Biden?
Yeah, what Hunter Biden like carried Joe around Ireland or something today. He'll do that. He'll do Joe Biden's old. He'll do Dylan Mulvaney did something. He'll do.
But it's like therapeutic to listen to Jerry because he's so.
I don't
like. He comes across as just like his voice is soft. He's just like he laughs. He can laugh. At least he can laugh at the craziness.
I guess I'm not hearing a lot of laughs when I listen to it. I don't know. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of it. But yeah, it seems like it's 3 topics. I guess what amazes me is where I guess I've read people wrong just based on my old show. My new show is different. Is I thought people liked sometimes to hear something they disagree with, but it turns out people just want to hear what they think. The Republicans want to hear Tucker. The Democrats want to hear Maddow or whoever. They just want to hear what they already have in their head. And I don't really understand that.
But we want it delivered with a little flavor because I can go on Twitter and get confirmation bias from some random person.
Right.
Like people like Tucker because he brings a little flavor to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I like Tucker. I've had Tucker on my show. Like I like Tucker.
Have you ever met him?
No, he's been on our show a couple of times. He did a video for one of our shows too. Yeah. So I mean, I give Tucker credit. He's not afraid to have porno on and stuff like that. So
no, not at all. And I think people like Tucker for the same reasons that you were popular, because he says the stuff that you just can't say. Like he said, like if you tell him he can't say it, he will say it twice.
We also got through the fire of like trying to get canceled by advertisers.
He's uncancelable. He's too popular. He's too good at his job.
Yeah, once you get through that is like,
well, they went subscription. Like subscription is the answer for conservatives. That's how I survived. Like I built this Turtle Club platform that, got a few hundred people in there and donos and stuff like that. I haven't had an advertiser in years, and I never want one again, because I hate the fact that the advertiser becomes the customer. So you're catering to them. I want the fan to become the customer.
Yeah, and I guess I gotta say, although I don't have your model, I think when I'm doing my show, I definitely don't think about advertisers.
You do. You kind of have that subscription. You're doing the show in Plymouth, right? Like Barstool didn't organize that. You did, right?
Man, I'm making all the money off it. So yeah, but also when I'm doing the show, I'm not like, geez, I hope Simply Safe isn't mad that I called this person. Like, I just think after a while, I learned that from the merchant, and you just can't worry about that stuff, because if they're going to get pissed off, and we've lost, even during Barstool, merchants gotten some kills. And it's like, all right, knock yourselves out. Like if you want to leave. I can't.
Is he still around?
I haven't heard anything about. I told them maybe a year and a half. The last time I went away, that would have been 2021, maybe. I was like, don't even tell me anymore. Like it's just so not like I just assume he is. Like I guarantee you right now, in his house there in Sherburne, he is watching us right now, and he is fucking stroking it away with one hand and typing in the other hand. This is his dream. This picture is his dream come true.
Do you think he wants you to kill yourself?
Yes.
He would take joy in that?
Yes.
I agree. I definitely I think he's a psychopath.
No,
what's scary about him is he's a psychopath with resources. A lot of these psychopaths are poor. They just sit on the internet. A psychopath with millions of dollars at his disposal is fucking dangerous.
I mean, yeah, and if you read about like the stuff with his neighbors or that house, and that got laughed out of the court. Like he just has, I think he just wakes up in the morning. I actually don't think
he's divorced now, right? I mean,
I think so. I think his wife was finally like, I can't deal with this guy. I think he wakes up in the morning. Is like, all right, like
I probably called it Kirk in bed.
Right? Yeah, probably. But the weird thing is, like, think of the conversation we had. Like, I think Gerry, he doesn't even think about Gerry, because I fought back. This is which is to your point earlier. Like, think about like if he really cares about that issue. If he really cares about the issue, which I don't think he does. I think it was just a sport for him. Of the two of us, who do you think he should be targeting?
Why is that? Why does he have such a thing for you?
Because I'm the one who publicly would go after him. I'm the one who
because you fought back. You didn't just lie down and take it.
I left. I kicked my way out of the guy. Literally crawled around the Barnes & Noble and got out of there. Where Gerry stayed, and he and Mutt interviewed, fucking whoever, I don't know, Pierre Maguire and Sam Kennedy, and then like got kicked out. And like now in that, and I think he got very in the bar stool for a while, but I haven't heard his name in like a year and a half in terms of like, hey, maybe he's had a kill that I don't know about. I just don't find it productive. Like, how does it help me if I found out the Murchison got rid of an advertiser? It just makes me fucking nuts.
No. Who's your tough question here? Who's your favorite star of the WEEI afternoon show? I mean, it's a tough one. You like Adam Jones, Mego, or Arcand? Who's the star?
It's tough. I mean,
who brings the takes?
That's kind of like that's like Rocky 1, 3, or 4.
Is that the worst show of all time? Like, could you put together a worse?
The worst anything of all time ever put together of any?
I think if you switched out Christian Arcand for Gresh, it would be the worst ever. Like, how the fuck does that guy keep getting work?
That's probably true. Boy, it makes no money. I think so. The ratings for that show for Megan Ottolini in the afternoon with Adam Jones. Adam Jones, I have to say, by the way, Turtleboy, when both after my parents died in 2017, he sent me a super nice long email. His parents had died as well.
Oh,
that's nice. Like a really nice, like, so I always have a soft spot for him. But the show stinks. The last weekly I saw, their ratings were in the ones. That's
do they like are they into like punishment porn? Like it's like, wait, well, we haven't sunk big enough, so we got to get rid of Lou. He's keeping the ratings up slightly.
Right. They were 18th in the afternoons, 18th. for men 25-54, which is all that matters. You and I could sit here until the end of time. You and I could sit here until we agreed on the pronoun debate, and we could not name 17 radio stations in Boston other than
I can name like 3.
Right? They finished 18th in the last weekly, and now to your earlier point, which I agree, this is where things get dangerous. Where like I'll say, like, I think Andy Gresh stinks. I also think Megan Alini stinks. Has nothing to do with their body parts. I think they both suck on the radio, but they're terrified to fire a female because of backlash you're going to take on Twitter and social media and the history of EEI and all that stuff. So she'll keep her job way past what should be your expiration date. And it's not helped, when Curtis does his thing. That just makes it more difficult. They can't then fire Megan Alini after Curtis did his.
Yeah, you employ a guy who has more skulls than Media Matters as far as cancel culture.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
but Dave Cullinane.
He's on a roll right now. He's.
Does he just watch every second of WEI and just?
Well, as you know, we have very, very many people paying attention to stuff like that, and Cullinane gets.
That's true.
I say Cullinane takes credit for stuff that's sent to him.
That's true.
But he does a good. I think what people miss, like, it's amazing that people actually think. Like, I'm amazed that people were like, I can't believe that you're trying to cancel this person. Like, do you understand the satire involved? Like, we're like, as a joke,
right? It's funny
how fucking stupid people are, and they lose their minds over something. We're just like, yeah, let's put this.
You guys just watching the world. You're just throwing gas on the shit and be like, this is fun. Like, you're not pro or anti culture. You're just like watching the world burn.
No, I don't think. Look, I think people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want. Like, what do I care if whatever? Let's just say Megan Alini said something horrific. Like, what do I care? That doesn't matter to me. She's not going to.
But it's just funny to make a big deal out of it. You're saying
what's funny to see people react to something that Dave Cullinane put out there as a joke. I think the Curtis one had like 3 million views. Like, it's just,
national news.
The
Tony Maz one was even bigger, wasn't it?
The Tony Maz one was probably bigger. I will say, like, the Tony Maz one to me is a weirder.
So for those of you guys don't know, Tony Maz got suspended because Mike Felger's co-host was in a hotel in a computer room, and there was 2 black guys behind him, and Tony made a joke. He says, "Don't let them steal your car," because his car had been stolen like the week before. But it happened to both guys were black, and it was just bad.
And I don't think Tony made that joke. It was like 2 white guys in business suits.
You don't think so?
I don't. I know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like, and that's okay. Like, whatever. Like, but like that one is like, I know Chris. So Chris Curtis, the producer of the morning show, used to be my producer. Compared Mila Kunis. There was they're banning the nips. They're trying to ban nips in Boston, right?
Yeah.
And they said, and Courtney Cox, because they're always thinking of interesting subjects, said, "What are your 5 favorite nips?" And Curtis said Mina Kimes, who is a ESPN personality who I think his mom was born in Korea.
I did not even know nip was a slur for Asian.
I did only because I have an old brain. Like, I would like watch old shows or whatever. But like Curtis like absolutely is brain dead. And like, I know how his mind works. Like, he did not mean that. But that blew up. That blew up nationally way bigger. You know why? Because of the history of EI, and 2, she is like a beloved Twitter personality. Like,
and she works at ESPN, whereas Tony Maz works at a Boston station. She's nationally known. Tony Maz is not.
This thing was the second biggest to me, way bigger than Erin Andrews. The only one that's in the conversation was the Reamer Brady's kid thing, which was
I forgot about that.
Enormous. It was a day. It was the Super Bowl. I remember flying out to Minnesota that day to go cover the Super Bowl. Turning my phone on when the plane landed. And
what did he say about Brady's kid? He's an asshole.
A piss ant.
That was the most harmless thing ever.
And by the way, shame on me and on Jerry and everybody for just being like, we should have been like, what the fuck?
Well, you had to censor yourself because you guys needed Brady on the show.
Yeah, and by the way, like, yes. So I got off the plane. I turned on while waiting. I had like 3. I had messages. I got my number. New York Post, Access Hollywood. Oh, it was insane the level of that thing was. But
how do you defend people when they bring up the Jerry Metco gorilla thing?
He's racist.
But was it Dennis that said it, right?
No, I know. I know. My defense is I don't like. I've never heard it. Like, it's one of those like.
It was like 2008.
It was earlier than that. It was 2000. It was the Red Sox won the World Series. It was 2004 because they weren't on the air.
Long ago. Okay.
They weren't on the air when the Red Sox. It was during that.
Oh, okay.
I can see how Dino would say something dumb, not even mean it, and Gerry kind of like. That's the thing is when you're the other guy in the room and somebody says something really stupid, you can't then be the guy who's like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's really insensitive." It just doesn't. It doesn't work. That
it's
way.
Awkward. It's awkward.
It's like when Flory did the Don Yee thing, and people were like, "Why did the word way and Lou go?" I'm like, "Well, they can't be like, listen, that's very sensitive to the Asian American. It doesn't work."
Yeah, it's awkward if that happens. It's cringe.
And I actually don't think Gerry Callahan is racist. I think he's homophobic, but I don't think he's racist.
You think he's homophobic? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Well, how can he work with Reamer? They're buddies.
Because it was good radio. That's why he was good in the radio with us.
I thought it was funny him working with Reamer. I thought that whole shtick, it was like father and gay son. That was funny. But like gay son teaching his father about homosexuality and like getting him more comfortable with it.
I agree. And I wish Gerry would do more stuff like that, but he doesn't want to. Like you said, he's got his thing now. You're right.
He's got Ironhead.
He's running the ball 3 times and punting on 4th down and just watching that clock go by. You are right about that, Turtle.
Yeah. I mean, what does he care? He's financially set.
That's true.
He gives a shit. He's retired in a few years. Have a good life, stress free. It is a nice way to live. He's probably a lot happier than you and me.
Yeah, I don't know how happy he is. I think he's bitter. I think he misses. Like I said, I don't miss EEI at all. I think he misses that show a lot, and I get that. I do get that. I shouldn't say that. There are times when some big stories happen, and you don't get to react to it right away. Or I'm like, oh, I missed the immediacy of radio, but like I couldn't imagine. Like Gerry would go back tomorrow to EI if they offered him the job. You couldn't pay me a dead serious $100 million a year. I wouldn't go back to radio.
Oh God, no.
Fucking chance.
Well, I would assume you're getting paid more now than. How much do you think Megan O'Leary gets paid? $50,000 a year?
I think she gets like $55,000. I think the entire on-air salary to EI, every on-air person, Greg Hill, the Jermaine Wiggins, Courtney Cox, the 2 afternoon people, and the 2 don't make as much combined as Gerry and I or Glenn made or whoever at their peak. I actually believe that.
I mean, that makes sense because revenue, I would assume, is
dead. Like even 98.5, which is doing great, the best ratings in America. The station that owns them is fucked. Like the radio's, that radio's dead. Can you imagine being on a radio right now?
I still listen to the radio because I'm in the car. It's just so convenient. As long as cars exist, radio will exist.
But I think, but like, put it this way: how old are your kids now?
5 and 7.
Okay, so they're not quite. Believe me, your kids are not gonna be listening to the fucking radio. Like like if you ask my daughter who's 16 to name one radio station other than the one I used to work at, she'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Right. If I asked her now, I've asked her like, what are the 3 networks on TV? And she's like, what do you mean? Like they don't watch
that. Oh, my kids don't know TV. Like the idea of watching live TV to them
doesn't exist. And that's what radio is
commercial
for that generation. No chance between YouTube and all that. Forget it. No way.
Yeah. Like even DVR for them is like slumming it a little bit.
Totally. No. My kids don't know. My daughter does not watches streaming and YouTube and that's it.
Yeah. Like imagine having like, I remember 8 o'clock Family Matters is on. And if you get there at 8:05, you're going to miss it.
Right.
You're fucked unless you got a tape with your VHS or some shit.
I tell you, when he was a kid, like, whatever. If Cheers was on and you missed the original one and then you missed the repeat in the summer, you were dead. Like, you're like, when am I ever going to see this again? Like 5 years later, you'd see it in syndication. So, yeah, times have changed. We can agree on that.
Yes, we can. But anyway, I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on, Kirk. Appreciate the conversation. We'll do it again sometime.
All right, Turtle Boy. I'll see you down the road.
All right. Bye. All right. So that was cool. Good conversation with Kirk Minihane. I know a lot of you guys I see a lot of the people like, this guy sucks, blah, blah. Well, you never heard him before. So you don't know. I brought him on for the one thing that you don't agree with him on. Like if you listen to the whole body of work, you'd be like, you'd love Kirk. I mean, Kirk's great. And that's why I had him on is like, I felt like his take on pronouns and shit was inconsistent from the Kirk I know, and that's all. But I thought that was a good conversation to have. So, all right, you guys, anything else you guys want to talk about? If you guys want to ask me about what happened last night, I'm fair game. Obviously, I did a brief stream on it in the car. But today sucked, man. It really sucked. Going to that protest, I felt invigorated. I felt like myself again. I didn't feel like myself all day. I felt like violated. Like that's the only it's your home, man. Your home is like the one place that it's yours. It does. The government can't go in there, right? The police can't go in there. It is your sacred place. And I felt violated in it. I felt unsafe in it. You know, like, because I didn't know, like, the second time, I didn't know it was the fucking police, man. I was fucking frightened, dude. My kids are upstairs. And it was like a really light knock. A really light knock. It was a creepy knock. Because I get what the police were doing. They didn't want to bang. Because they didn't want to, like, alarm us. And so they were trying to be good about it. But the light knock was even creepier. Because it sounded like they were just kind of testing the waters. You know, maybe they were trying to get in. And I saw the flashlights and I'm like, are they looking like to see if anyone's around? Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, I was shitting my fucking pants. And so when I saw, you know, a police badge, I'm like, I felt safer, obviously, because I'm like, I immediately knew what it was. So do you guys have any questions about that? I still can't believe that fucking happened. You know? Still cannot believe that happened. Just I felt violated with that whole thing. And it is a traumatic event, man. That shit was traumatic. My son luckily slept through the whole thing. My daughter did not. And dude, my kids are affected by this. And they're going to be for a while. And that's why I'm fucked up from this. I'm over it myself. Whatever. I can get over it. If I was just living by myself, I could get over it. But it affects them. And this guy, Zachary Marten, I have a lot of things I'd like to say about him. But I'm not gonna mess up this investigation. I'm not gonna give him any ammo to work with. Just understand, Zachary Marten. I'm the wrong guy to do that to. I'm the wrong fucking guy to do that to. My kids are the wrong people to do that to. I will defend them to the end of the earth. You'll never know that because you're never going to have kids, obviously. Thank God. And I know that you grew up unloved. Your mother abandoned you. You live with your 80-year-old father. That's how much of a loser you are. And you're mad at the world. You are consumed with anger and hatred because you hate yourself. As you should. You should. If I woke up tomorrow and I was you, I would hate myself. And I would look at somebody like me. Like you probably look at people like LG and you're like, you know, you would just die for it. If one time you would die for it. And then you look at somebody like me and you're like, that's not fair. Why him? And you are so fucking inadequate, you feel, and you should. Because you're an inadequate person just looking at you. You look disgusting. You're poor. You don't have a job. You don't work at the Wawa. I called the Wawa. I know exactly. I got your address. Everybody thought you worked at the Wawa down there. I called the Wawa today. You don't work there. You don't have a job. Trust and believe, son. I'm the wrong guy to do that to. I'm going to find out everything about you. Everything. I'm never going to forget what you did to my children last night. Ever. Just know that. You fucked with the wrong person, and there is literally nothing I will never fucking rest until there's justice for this. Just understand that. You will not, like, trust me. I'm not going to say anything stupid. I'm going to cut myself off right now, but let's just put it that way. You fucked with the wrong motherfucker, son. So just wait. Wait on it. Because of a lot of other, ask your friends. Ask your friends. Ask LG. She was 5 years ago. She was making $150,000 as a state trooper. Now she's sucking dick in North Carolina, getting chewed up by dogs and spending time on fucking panels begging for attention. That's what I do to people. That's what I do to people. Just understand that. You're going to join the list. You're going to join the list. Do I think he'll get charged? You know, so they're going to, it's interesting because I don't think he's the one that called. He urged people to call. So they have to look up statutes. They have to figure out what state he would be charged in. Is it interstate? What exactly is the crime here? These are things that it's going to take the police time to investigate. They're going to have to coordinate with district attorney's offices. But they are working around the clock on this, Zach. Just understand that. Multiple police departments are not fucking around. You know why, Zach? Because you fucked with children. Fuck with me, that's one thing. They'll probably let that go because nobody gives a fuck about me. You fucked with a 5-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. Good kids. Really good kids. Really nice, sweet, completely innocent kids. And you fucked with them. You're a monster. That's what people think of you, right? That's what the police think of you in both places. I spoke with police in West Palm yesterday. They know where you live. They saw the tapes. It's a matter of when, not if, you're going down. Just understand that. So stay tuned. Let me check the turtle chats. Let's see what we got here. Some turtle chats to read. Let me read these. Okay, first up, we got Chris sends $100 and says, get some rest, son. I'm fucking exhausted, but I just feel energized by all this. So thank you very much, Chris. Sends 100. I really appreciate that, sir, Chris. Thank you. Next up, Suzanne sends 35, says, for going between the guy's legs, still laughing. I cannot wait to rewatch and revisit that whole thing in Newton today. That was a blast. Zach Martin sends $10 and says, I dox people. I have repeatedly failed the high school equivalency exam. I live at home with my dad. I have no job and I am obese. Last night I swatted Turtleboy because I got tired of spending my nights trying to suck my own dick. There are already videos of me sucking a doorknob, hammer, mic, and flashing my balls. I act insane because I have nothing to lose. I even lied for years about my mom having cancer and dying, but in reality, she abandoned my family and her. And I fought once. I want others to be sued because I have no life worth living. Follow me at Tonic in Sales or Tonic the Fox, aka Zach Martin. It's all true. All true. Thank you, Zach Martin there. Lisa sends $10 and says, it was amazing meeting you in Newton. Great to meet you too, Lisa. I met a lot of great people in Newton today. After 52 years living in Newton, I'm so glad I'm not living there anymore. Living in Worcester since 2019. I know you appreciate a place like Worcester when you go to Newton. You're like, Worcester is not completely overrun by crazy like Newton is. Completely agree. Tim sends $50 and says, love the blog and live stream, Aidan. Don't let the gutter muppets out there get to you. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, sir. And that is exactly what I plan on doing. Did I miss any cash apps here? Let's see. I don't want to miss any cash apps. Mega Mortis sends $50 and says his message is, keep up the great work. Fuck the haters. I appreciate that. And Royce Clayton, I'll get there in one sec. Rod O'Byrne sends $10 and says, for the haters. Appreciate that, Rod. Really do. And Royce Clayton, God bless you. She sent this at 7:03. So this is before the show, but I want to give her a shout out because I really appreciate this. She sends the message for keep fighting and thank you. And she sends $500. Jeez. Holy cow. Humbled by your gratitude there. I really appreciate that. And it makes it all worth it, really, because this is my job. This is my livelihood. I love doing this. And if I don't do this, who's going to do it? Who's going to go down and confront a bunch of communist assholes in Newton today who are preaching fucking insanity of drag shows? Like they are advocating for drag shows during school. That's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. And if we don't have people who stand up and be like, that's fucking insane, the emperor has no clothes, then who will? I will. And I get why people don't like to do it because you don't want to deal with it. I got assaulted today, but I fought back. There's some video out there. Check it out. There's some video out there. Check it out. So that's what I do. Hello. A coward doesn't even want to answer. Somebody listening to the show. I saw someone say Tonics on Brett's channel. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me that he would host somebody like that. I mean, Brett's just a piece of shit at the end of the day. Like if you're supporting Brett at this point, and you're supporting somebody that does this to children, fuck off. You're literally garbage. And that's all they got left over there is a bunch of garbage. And in this YouTube drama community, there's some decent people in there. There are some decent people in there. Rue is a decent person. Lauren Laguna, I guess, would qualify as part of that community. Paige B, who I don't know at all. I don't know Paige B at all, but I see your comments and I'm like, I can tell she's a decent person. I don't know a lot of these people, but I like Rue did a stream today and there was decent people in there because they can all condemn and be like, this is fucking insane. This guy's a fucking cocksucker. And if you're still supporting someone like that, then so are you. First of all, Kirk is my friend. Okay, please don't ever trick yourself to believing he would turn on you. No, you don't know. Like, I know Kirk on a personal level. And Gerry. Like, getting to know those two guys on a personal level, as somebody who admired them for many years, has been very cool because they are actually the people that they pretend that like a lot of people are different on the air. They're the same. Like, Kirk is fucking insane in real life, but he's genuine. I feel like he's very genuine, and that's why I like him. And Gerry, like I said, I thought Gerry would be like this grizzled fucking dude. No, Jerry's actually one of the most laid back people I've ever met. They have the exact opposite personalities. No, absolutely. Are people saying that? No, Kirk's a great dude. Trust me. Go watch his earlier work. Don't base your opinion on Kirk on this one thing that we disagree on. You know, that's the whole point. Remember when you argued that Gerry would be bigger than Kirk? If Gerry had me for a co-host, we would be competing. Let's just put it that way. It would be a lot closer. And I mean that. I don't mean to shout at Gerry. I'm pretty confident in myself and the crowd I bring. And I thought me and Gerry made sweet music together. So fuck you, Carano. I hate Carano. I hate him so much. I kept trying to press the Carano thing. I fucking hate Carano so much. Hate him. Okay. Anybody else? Let's see. You tell the police you were doxxed. Oh yeah. They know it all. Yeah. Thank you, Caroline. Horrible. That guy is just a YouTube person, sits on YouTube all day and somehow met up, became buddies with Krusty Panties and Brett. And she's going to try to she's been trying to disassociate herself with him. I don't know Zach. I got a fucking Kate. I got a voicemail right here. Let's play the voicemail. Let's play the tonic voicemail, shall we? When you and him want to fucking stream together and you're calling me about masturbation videos or some shit. What do we got here? What the hell is it? Doing the Lord's work. I appreciate that. This is Kate.
Hi, Aidan. It's Kate. Do you remember me? I just wanted to call and see if you were sure, man, that you wanted to continue to harass.
So sure, man. So that's code. So she says that on later. I want to see if you're sure, man. Who lives on Sherman? Happens to be the name of a street. Take a wild guess who lives there.
Random females and threaten them on YouTube and Facebook over your own narcissistic injuries. Anyway, I'm on Brett's panel right now, and I'm hoping that you will message Manda and get the link because I'd love to talk to you about, maybe Lauren, Leigha, Tori.
This is insane.
The whole crew. I was just curious. I've been speaking to Julie quite a bit, so I figured I'd get your side of the story. Have a great night.
That's a lunatic right there. Like a lunatic who is so invested in another person's sex life. Like it's fucking insane. Fucking insane. Fucking insane. Anything else we got here? Let's see. Here it is. This is the Zach Martin voicemail. Listen to this.
Hey, what's up, Aidan? So this is Tonic. We tried to get a hold of you so you could come on the show. You have an open invitation. I wish you know that. I'm just that nice of a guy. We'd like you to come on and talk about your various jerk-off videos because, I'm a big fan. I know that for some reason you're against homosexuality, and that's all well and good. I hope that works out for you. I myself love watching men jerk off all the time. And
he loves watching it.
Plenty of times.
Oh, he's watched it plenty of times.
So if you want to come on and talk about this, talk about why you decided to send them to a girl who just would send them to your direct enemy, and possibly this new photo we found of you and your mistress. Hold on, let me go ahead and pull that out just in case you catch the stream again. Because come up and discuss who this is, maybe like your new love interest, or possibly what she's grabbing right here.
Something that's never been grabbed on you.
The more, yeah, we'd love to be answered by you, Aidan Kearney.
Aidan Kearney, this is the child that we're dealing with.
Because, you wasted Judge's time. You're a fucking faggot. Hey, come on now. But, yeah, man, you can totally get a hold of me at any
Tonic,
time.
if I ever just understand that, Tonic, like if I see you, dude, I'm breaking your face, son. Just understand that, dog. Like this, what you do is some YouTube shit. If I ever see you, bro, I'm gonna fucking destroy your face. Just understand that, Tonic. Understand that. I probably never will. So whatever, it's not gonna. I'm like, but if I ever see you, just understand that. You better fucking run the other way. Just understand that, motherfucker. Because I mean, watch the videos of me today when these fucking some Antifa fuck thought he could put hands on me. He realized right fucking away he cannot do that. My tone changed real quick and he got tossed. And if he wants to file a charge, he can file a charge. Motherfucker touched me first. If you even, dude, bring it, motherfucker. Bring it, dude. Anyway. Anybody else got any questions? Bert's. I love how you guys call him Burke. Anybody else? These people are sick. There's no other way around it. No other way around it. They all act like that's a great way. They're such losers. I mean, they don't have a show about something. I have Kirk Minihane on here. And by the way, Brett was like, we should contact him. Brett, you have no power, dude. You don't have the power to do that. You don't fucking matter. If you contacted Kirk Minihane, he would take one look at you and be like, I'm just going to ignore this guy because you're nobody. That's all you're ever going to be. A lonely, sad, dying man in Maine with no teeth and no job and no car and no one who actually gives a fuck about you. If you died tomorrow, no one would care. And certainly not a single one of your followers would go to your funeral. Just understand that. I'm loved. You're never going to be loved. You're nobody. That's why you called here 3 weeks ago crying like a half-fucked bitch, coming on here and saying how much you missed me. You missed me. I made you do that. I made you do that. Anyway, they do make Connie look sane. And honestly, Connie is an insane person who flips out and has said some horrible fucking things. But what they do to him is fucking evil. Like they literally just take a crazy person and they just fuck with him. And it's entertainment for them. It's fucking horrible what they do to him. Horrible. And Connie will probably be offended that I said that because because he's crazy. But just understand that. Even he doesn't deserve to get fucking treated like that. It's horrible. Thank you, Lawrence. That's exactly it. She gets all Braves on Brett's channel, but can never accept your offer to go one-on-one. Or how about when I see her face-to-face? What does she do when we see each other face-to-face? She runs away from me and hides behind her Newt Gingrich lawyer and her ogre, crackhead, Andrew Johnson, Andrew Luck, crackhead Andrew Luck. And I'll see you, Andrew. I'll see you Monday. I'll be in West Roxbury Court, son. You better be there this time because you finna catch that charge. Because that's what I do. I follow through. The settlement is actually calling out Tonic because they understand how horrible this is. They understand that he did this. Not if they had just done this to me, they would laugh. He did it to children. The children were a fucking victim here. You fucking animal. Anybody else? Just a wave of internet addicted losers. And I want to like Merb. I do. But his the whole I like Kate thing, it's like, what's up with that? You know, I don't care what he thinks of me. He cannot dislike me. That part doesn't bother me. It's the I like Kate thing. That's just like, what's up with that, dude? Like, what do you like about her? She's a horrible, disgusting person and a liar, but she's fun. Okay. Anybody else have questions? Yeah. I mean, look, dude, you're not even like, we have a show here. I get, Kirk's a somewhat famous person around here. Like, that's who comes on my show. What do you got? A panel of talking boxes? Yeah. You don't have a show. You don't have topics. We do. So tomorrow I have a meeting with the police chief of Holden and the town manager of Holden. And we're going to discuss, they're coming up with a new policy just for me. No one else in town. Their policy is to respond to all wellness checks. With me, they're no longer going to do that unless you can verify who you are and verify that I'm actually threatening these things, which I feel like should have been the policy for everyone, not just me. Merb calls Turtle Riders tribal too, even though we ain't the ones getting arrested and doing. I mean, you're tribal in the sense that you agree with me on shit. Like yeah, you agree with me on, like, you're on, you're behind me, But if I did, you're not tribal in the fact that, like, if I started doing shit that, and not like the storm shit, like the tub shit, like shit that actually could be verified, real shit, you'd be like, I'm out of here. Fuck this guy. I'm sure when that tub shit came out, a lot of you probably looked at that like, is he really doing this? And you looked into it and you're like, oh, it's not. They're lying. I'm sure a lot of you did that. I don't know. She's fun, Lauren. I don't know. Lauren Uno's fun. She's a fun girl. Nice person. That's fun. And look what Kate did to her. Was that fun, Merb, when she stalked, harassed, and threatened a completely innocent woman? You heard the voicemail. Are you sure, man? That's a street name. That was a shot at her. That was a way of doxing her. She said that on her show. So there's that. I'm not a follower. I'm a rider. That is a great name. Turtle Rider. That sticks. Yeah. I mean, that's a great question, Jewel. Like, of all the law that man could practice, he practices family law. Family law. I mean, do you think Casey Anthony's a nice person? Is Casey Anthony's fun? That I'll give you. She's a murderer and cold-blooded, but she killed because she wanted to have fun. Kate's not fun. He doesn't support her. I mean, but he's got a platform and influence, and he chooses to be like, yeah, I still like her. It's like, trouble means like-minded, not rich. Yeah. Are they going to say something to that cop? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to talk to the police chief about it tomorrow. That would not let me record. I mean, that still makes me upset. Like, I feel like Josh Abrams, but they need to get lectured in the First Amendment, because this is twice now in Holden. The school committee tried to kick me out over that. Like, there seems to be a misunderstanding about how the First Amendment works around here, and you better get used to it, because I'm going to have my camera everywhere I go. I feel like he was trying to hit it. Nah, he was never trying to fuck her. No way. Ew. I mean, they don't live near each other, They're not going to fuck. They're probably never going to meet. None of these people are ever going to meet in real life. Will you go live Monday? Yeah, I'll probably do a live stream on the way home. I like doing the car streams, because what else am I going to do in the car ride home, right? What else am I going to do? Give you guys some entertainment. Did we ever find out why Shannon was in court? Yeah, people should ask her that. Like, Shannon, how hard was it to show up for court? Brett showed up. Brian fucking Riccio showed up. How come you, Kate's right-hand girl who lives not that far from Attleboro and has no job, nothing to do, your kids are at school, why couldn't you come up? Interesting. Yeah, she's making whale videos. Oh, she's so weird, dude. Such a cringe person. I mean, just talk about desperate for attention. But like, she can pretend like, oh, I like this. Like, bitch, you know you hate it. You know what drives her mad to know that she's one of the favorites for Ratchet Madness this year. One of the favorites. Like, that's your company that you're keeping. You know, I went through some old clips today, just hearing shit. And like, I got one of Amanda saying, let's see. What the hell? Can't share. What the hell did she say? That Ryan Waters is going to take me down. Like, there are so many old videos I have on my phone that you listen to, and you're like, oh my God, these people. How about, you guys ever hear the LG N-word video? Give me a 1 in the comments if you've heard the LG N-word video. Give me a 2 if you've never heard it. That's a crazy one. Like, this is wild. The LG N-word video. Like, holy shit. Looks like most people have. See, I have heard it. That's interesting. But some people haven't. Maybe we should play it. Dude, so many old fucking awesome videos in here that I found while like researching shit today. Hold on, where is it? There's some other interesting LG videos in here too, but that's different. And if you follow her on Twitter, you might see some of them. Just saying. Fucking Chrissy. Chrissy did it. Oh, let's check this out. Let's see. Where'd it go?
I don't want nothing from it.
Bro, I don't have a channel. You
Interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger. You
Interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger.
Whoa! That's all you care. Whoa!
No, I don't want nothing from it.
Bro, I don't
Not
have a channel. You
interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger. You
Interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger.
Whoa! That's all you care. Whoa!
No, I don't want nothing from it.
Bro, I don't
Not
have a channel. You
interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger. You
Interest
stupid
me.
fucking nigger.
Wow. That's how I met Rue, was over that video. Rue was like following. So Rue, cat's out of the bag with this one. So I got a message from her one day about this. She's like, what the fuck is the deal with this? Because I'd seen her in the comments on there, and I wasn't sure if she was a Peter eater or what she was. But she's like, what the fuck is this shit? And I'm like, oh, I had to explain the whole backstory. And she's like, I have a confession. You wrote about my brother. Yeah, I wrote about Rue's brother in 2018. His name was Michael Burris. And he is a con man who got paid money to do this guy's wedding and then took all the money and never did shit. Really nice guy too. I met the guy. And a guy lived in Leominster. And she's like, I did a follow-up on it that she was in because she showed up in the comments shitting all over her brother. I'm like, oh, fucking Ratchet's sister showed up. Oh shit. Usually they're like doing free my boy, but she's like, yo, fuck my boy. And so that's why I liked her. I'm like, I didn't put it. I'm like, oh, you're her? Oh shit. That's crazy. So yeah. Yeah. With the hard R at the end. I mean, dude, how do you say something like that in 2023 and be like, that's normal? She is one of the most racist people I've ever met in my life. I truly mean that. Truly mean that. Like, so fucking racist. Hold on. Like, she said some shit about like the dog. Her dogs like to attack black people. Like, she trained them to do that. It's really like uncomfortable shit. You're like, oh. And, you know, like Kirk said, it's like, you don't want to be the one to be like, that's racist. So you're just like, Next topic, I guess. I don't fucking know. Yikes. You ever have someone do that to you? You ever have somebody like go too far? You're talking to them and you're like, yikes, not down with that. I'll tell you that much. Yikes. So does her vagina. Yikes, 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 yikes. Stream, yeah, I didn't say it. That's his girl. All right. I mean, and that is, I mean, that aspect of it too, the fact that she was a cop, like, man, she was like that story. After I got to know her, the Leigha Genduso story became even crazier because when I wrote about her afterwards, I didn't know her as a person, you know, all I knew was she could have been a nice person. I always think everybody's nice. I give them the benefit of the doubt, but no, she was actually worse than I thought, like much worse. Like little, like I mean, I knew she banged her way onto the job, but she really banged her way into the job. Like had no business being a state trooper, no education, no background in any of this. She's a fucking bartender, for crying out loud. Nothing. I mean, just literally fucked her way in there. And then dumps fucking Ristine the second she makes Canine, which was fucking hilarious. Immediately has like a new, it's like, go back and read her book. I went back and read her book afterwards and I'm like, holy shit, what's wrong with me? I had this chick pegged. You want to hear a funny one? I got another funny audio here. Let me find this one. Give me a minute. I got it over here. You're going to laugh. Some of you might have heard this one. It's kind of funny. I think this is it. I have way too many files on my phones. Plural. All right, hold on. It's coming through. Let me read the questions in the meantime. Let me read some questions. Yeah, he does. He says the A a lot. And I guess he just, the things you can get away with when you have nothing to lose, I guess. She ratted out her boyfriend. Yeah, that too. I mean, literally saved herself and was like aghast about the fact that, like, you know, maybe you should go to jail too for 2 years. Like, that seems fair. You're a drug dealer. And she just, even when I had her on for the interview with the Jenny from the Block look that she had, she never admitted that, like, she kept talking about how, like, no, I was really good in the academy and they were twice as hard at me. None of that matters. Like, you're missing the big picture. The fact that you're still saying shit like that tells me that you hasn't really sunk in yet. You know, I'm sending a video, dude. All right, did it go through? It's a funny video. Anyway, I'll just keep reading the comments till it goes through. Anyone else have any questions they want to ask me before we call it a night? Let me check the donos. I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, we're good on that front. Okay, I got it. I think I got the video come through. Let me see. Nope, wrong fucking video. I sent the wrong video. Great. This is a funny one, though. Hold on. It's not the shower one, which is funny, too. Hold on. Oh, here. This is definitely it. And I've sent this one before, so it should go quickly. All right, you guys are going to like this one when it comes through. We'll end with this one. How about that? Have you changed your mind on LG to have some kind of? Well, there was like 6 or 7 months there of nothing, like of just like, remember she was just like part like a turtle rider, like, and she immediately would come in the comments every time. And it was kind of obvious that like I could if I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, I think like what, like, obviously, I mean, what's she going to say? No, come on. And so just went for it. And next thing you know, here, like, I just got conned. Like it was the worst. I was the lowest moment of my life. Let's put it that way. The dumbest fucking thing. I'll never get a chance to redo that, but it's literally the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done. I became a moron, like no other way around it.
Who right now wouldn't get a lap dance? And if you say you wouldn't, chicks included, tell me who right now wouldn't get a lap dance from Leigha Genduso. And if you say you wouldn't, I think you're lying. And I definitely think she should become a stripper, because why the fuck not? I mean, think about that night. That would be a huge night for any strip club. It's like bigger than Stormy Daniels.
This is 2019.
Like Leigha Genduso is making her debut down at Sweaty Betty's for the breakfast buffet. Come on down. Oh, man, that'd be fantastic. She'd come out with her handcuffs and shit like that. It'd be awesome. Where do you get what book? Are you looking for the Leigha Genduso book? The Leigha Genduso book is in the it's in the blog. It's embedded in it. And the Turtleboy book is on Amazon. Dude, that broad might stab you if you see her legit. She might. I mean, but I feel like, I don't know. Like, if I wasn't, I'm married, so she might want to hook up with me, right? I mean, I wouldn't. I'm very loyal. But I feel like I fit the criteria, right? I'm a guy who has a little bit of influence, right? And I'm married. That's about it. I don't have a badge, but I can pretend if she likes, you know. Yeah, you can't download it from the blog, but you can read it in the store. So
is that not?
And if you say
like,
you wouldn't,
when someone sent me
included.
that clip afterwards, I'm like, I wish I talked to 2019 me. How did I not talk to 2019 me? They have a breakfast buffet. Yikes. Anyway, I thought that clip was funny. Oh, no doubt about it. And LG knows that too. It's not like why do you think she changed her profile picture to Lauren? Why do you think she went to Lauren's house and took pictures outside and was dumb enough to have her fucking rear view mirror show that it was her fucking car? Why did she do all that? Because you knew that you couldn't compete. Anyway, anyone have any more questions? I think it might be Tuesday. You're right, Tuesday. On Tuesday is one of the best weeks for it is. I missed April vacation, stuff like that. Missed the vacations. Anyone else have any other questions? You guys got to be nice to Kirk. I mean, you guys don't know him like I do. So I brought him on here. If you've never heard him before, you probably think he's a cuck. I get that. But that's not how he is. It starts Monday. Ratchet Madness starts Monday. Anyone else have any other questions? Oh, stop it, 7-pounder. You know that's not true. After I saw her amateur porn, I would definitely not get a lap dance from her. She might have. Yeah. No, she's clean. Trust me. At least was. There we go. Christine likes Kirk. There we go. What does she look like? Well, sir, there's a channel on Twitter called at Leigha, Leigha Genduso OF, as in OnlyFans, I believe. You got a pretty good look at her on there. I believe a woman by the name of Christina Yakimowski seems to be running that channel as some sort of revenge thing. which she's legally allowed to do in Massachusetts. So pretty rude because I sent those to Chrissy. You forgot, Leah. I sent all those to Chrissy. She wanted to see everything because she hated you, and she could not wait to release those. So I guess you guys had a falling out. Guess you had a falling out. Yeah, I mean, looking for attention on Twitter, it looks like, but the hat. All I'm going to say, every woman that saw that happen knew exactly what she was. It's true. Wait, the hat. Oh, the Jenny on the block. Yeah, women understood what was going on there real quick. So many people like, dude, don't. So many women were like, don't. I see what's happening here. Don't do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I did it. Yikes. Ew, gross. At least it wouldn't, with her, it wouldn't require a fist up the ass. All right, guys. So we're going to call it an evening. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm on zero sleep. My back's killing me. I've been protesting today. I went for a run. I ran 4 miles today because it was beautiful out. I just need to let some stress out. So I'll be back in my grind. Although tomorrow I got to meet with the police. I'm going to Leominster Court to get an order on tonic. And then I'm going on Gavin McInnes's show tomorrow at 1:30. Me and Gavin McInnes are buddies now. So we talked Tuesday and I'm supposed to go on a show tomorrow at 1:30. So anyway, guys, but I think, I don't know, you have to like subscribe to his censored TV, censored.tv to watch. I don't know, but I trust you. Great, Eden Beaver. You're my boy. You're my boy, son. So, all right, guys, we will talk to you guys later. Peace, Turtle Riders.